Have you ever felt like you're being swept up in the never-ending whirlwind of work, family, and other people's demands? You always want to please everyone, but the more you say yes, the more you feel drained, exhausted, and lose the joy of life. The truth is, when you can't say no, you're putting yourself at risk for burnout and depression. Your mental health will gradually weaken because you're constantly pouring all your energy into others, leaving no time for yourself. The stress, anxiety, and exhaustion will only build up until you're too worn out to face any challenges. Saying no isn't selfish. It's the only way to protect yourself from emotional burnout. When you learn how to say no to inappropriate requests, you'll have time to take care of your health, focus on what matters, and live a higher quality life. In today's content, I'm going to share 5 reasons why saying no is a vital life skill to avoid burnout and depression. Don't wait until it's too late. Learn how to say no today to protect yourself and take your life back. 1. Avoid overload. Overload makes you feel buried under a mountain of work, relationships, and endless demands, right? That feeling is pretty familiar, isn't it? Every time someone asks for help or makes a request, you easily agree because you don't want to disappoint anyone. But then, one day, you realize you're losing control. Oh no, when did I get into this situation? You're exhausted, stressed, losing joy, and even your mental health is starting to crumble. The truth is, you're pushing yourself toward burnout and depression without realizing it. When you keep saying yes, everything just keeps piling up. Work, family, friends, and other people's demands. You feel like you have to do it all. And before you know it, you no longer have time to stop and breathe. But you don't always have to agree to everything. How could you do everything well if you don't even have the energy to get anything done? The reality is, if you keep taking everything on without knowing how to say no, you'll quickly become overwhelmed. You won't be able to do your work well, your health will suffer, and the worst part is, you'll feel like everything is slipping through your fingers. Even your relationships will start to suffer. How can you maintain balance when every day is a never-ending race? I'm sure you've heard stories of someone working themselves to exhaustion, or people who have everything but lack inner peace. Do you recognize that? The cost of not knowing how to say no is huge. Maybe you're thinking, oh no, is this really true? And of course, we can change this, starting right now. Oh, but have you subscribed to the channel yet? If not, hit the subscribe button below to stay updated on our latest content. To break free from this cycle, the first thing you need to do is learn to say no to things that aren't important. Saying no doesn't mean you're not valuable. It's how you preserve your value, so you don't lose yourself in the endless stream of responsibilities and demands from others. Remember, rejecting a task doesn't mean rejecting your worth. On the contrary, when you know how to say no, you'll have space to focus on what's truly important to you. So, remember this quote from Epictetus: "We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." In reality, you have the power to decide what's important and what's not. Don't let yourself be swept away by meaningless demands. Don't let those pressures rob you of yourself. Learn to prioritize tasks and only take on what's truly necessary. As for the things that don't matter, don't hesitate to say no. Make time for yourself, for your health, and for what really adds value to your life. Remember, you absolutely have the right to say no. It's the only way to protect yourself from burnout and depression. The cost of a no might be bigger than you think, but it will help you regain your energy, peace, and ultimately, the quality of life you deserve. 2. Protect personal space. Oh, maybe you're feeling caught up in an endless loop, with work, family, friends, and everyone around you needing something from you. Sometimes, you just want a little time for yourself, but then you feel like you can't refuse those requests. I get it, because we all want to help and don't want to let others down. especially you, a kind and passionate person. But take a moment and think, are you overloaded? The stress, exhaustion. Seriously, it's no fun, is it? And usually, that's a clear sign when you keep taking on work, attending social gatherings, or always being there for someone who needs you. But does anyone think about the fact that you also need to recharge? Yep, you need personal space to breathe. If not, you'll fall into burnout, and worse, maybe depression. Sound familiar, right? I have a friend who always says yes to everyone. Whether it's work, family, or friends, she always tries to please everyone. But one day, she realized things were starting to spiral out of control. She was tired, constantly stressed, and even her relationships were starting to crack. Then she decided, say no. So, do you think that decision was right or not? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, bro. At first, it was really hard, but then she felt relieved. Things weren't overwhelming anymore. She had time for herself and began to feel like she was truly living, not just running after everyone else's demands. Saying no sometimes is a gift to yourself, you know. And you know what? That's why I want to talk about this today. Just like Epictetus said, the only thing we can control is ourselves. You definitely can't please everyone, and you can't take on everything, but you can decide to protect yourself. Learn to say no, politely but firmly. It's not selfish. It's a way to take care of yourself and avoid burnout and stress. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care about others. On the contrary, when you make space for yourself, you'll be able to help others better when you truly can. You won't feel burnt out, and your relationships will be stronger. Try this out. Take a little time each day just for you, and there's nothing wrong with saying no to unnecessary demands. Remember, protecting yourself doesn't just help you live healthier, but it also helps your relationships improve. So, don't be afraid to say no. It's not weakness. It's a solid step to protect your mental and physical health. And definitely, you'll feel like yourself again. 3. Boost self-worth. Imagine always agreeing to every request, even ones that don't really match your abilities or goals. You're overworking, drained both physically and mentally, and meanwhile, your self-esteem is slowly diminishing. When you keep putting others first, not only do you lose your energy, but you also forget that you deserve respect and the right to set boundaries. So, how do you say no and boost your self-worth? This is also a very important question. A 2018 study from Harvard University found that the ability to say no helps reduce stress, protect mental health, and build healthier relationships. This is absolutely true when you realize that saying no is actually a way to protect yourself, maintain your mental and physical health. Yes, it sounds simple, but refusing is one of the strongest things you can do to protect yourself. When you know how to say no, you're not just protecting your mental and physical health, you're also asserting your self-worth. You know, saying no helps you stop carrying too much and create space to focus on what's truly important, which will help you escape feelings of burnout and depression. Think about this. You're drowning in work, requests keep coming in, and you don't dare say no. You're afraid that refusing will disappoint others or make them think less of you. But the truth is, when you don't know how to say no, you'll fall into burnout, stress, and have no time for yourself. And gradually, this leads to exhaustion, feelings of depression, because you're doing too many things without truly investing in yourself. So, why should we learn to say no? The answer is simply that when you refuse a request that's outside your ability or goals, you're courageously redefining what's most important to you and protecting your mental health. You can think of it as a shield protecting your health from unnecessary pressures. And don't forget, in this life, every time you say no decisively, you're building a strong, healthy personal image. You're asserting that I deserve respect, and I don't need to do everything to be accepted. When you decline requests that aren't right for you, you're giving yourself space to breathe, to do more important things for yourself and your life. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. This means that when you learn to say no, you are taking control of your life instead of letting the demands of others drain you. So, try saying no to things that don't really matter to you. Start with small requests, and you'll begin to see a difference in your life. You'll have more time and energy to focus on what truly matters, to invest in yourself, and to maintain your mental health. When you say no, you're not just avoiding burnout. You're also protecting yourself from relationships and situations that leave you feeling drained and anxious. Remember, each time you say no, you're building the life you truly deserve. 4. Improving your quality of life. Oh, are you feeling so exhausted that you just want to quit? Burned out by things beyond your control, with no time left for yourself? To improve your quality of life and escape burnout and depression, you need to learn how to say no. It sounds simple, but the truth is, many of us don't realize that turning down things that aren't important is the key to living a lighter, less stressful, and more meaningful life. Think about it. If you're constantly saying yes to everyone and everything, you won't have any time for yourself, right? You'll keep chasing after other people's demands and forget about your own hobbies, passions, and the little things that actually make you happy. Just one word, no, and you can take back control of your life. So, how does this help you break free from burnout and depression? Oh, if you turn down things that aren't important, you'll have time to take care of yourself, to do what you truly enjoy. Instead of agreeing to activities you're not interested in just to avoid disappointing others, why not spend time exercising, learning a new skill, or even just resting to recharge? What's the reality? You've probably been in this situation before. You get an invitation to hang out, but all you really want to do is stay home and relax. But instead of saying no, you hurry to agree. And then, when it's time to go, you feel tired, unhappy, and completely uncomfortable. So why not try saying no this time? Save that time for doing what you love without feeling guilty. So, how do you practice this? Give it a try. Whenever you get an invitation or request from someone, ask yourself, is this really important to me? If the answer is no, don't hesitate to say no. Spend time doing what you want, what makes you feel comfortable. Sometimes, a free morning to read a book, an afternoon walk in the park, or simply a relaxing evening with your family could be the most valuable things. Here's a philosophy from Marcus Aurelius that I think is great. Live according to nature. That's right. Life isn't a race, and you don't have to meet every demand. Live according to what you truly need. When you know how to say no, you'll feel lighter, more at peace, and truly enjoy life. Finally, do you know? Life's too short to keep chasing after things that aren't yours. Learn to say no, and you'll feel a wonderful sense of freedom. When you do this, not only will you improve the quality of your life, but you'll also take back control of yourself. Give it a try, and you'll see how different it feels. 5. Reducing guilt. Oh my gosh. Sometimes we want to help others, but we fear that if we say no, they'll be disappointed. It's tough to say no when you're worried about guilt, right? But here's the truth. If you don't learn how to say no, you'll easily fall into burnout, exhaustion, and eventually depression. People might not realize that when you keep taking on more responsibilities without giving yourself time, you're pushing yourself closer to burnout. The guilt of turning someone down will only make you feel heavier, and that just increases the stress in your life. In fact, saying no is a way you protect your health and mental state. When you always agree to everyone's requests, you're losing yourself without even realizing it. But that doesn't mean you're selfish. Saying no is a way to tell yourself, I need to take care of myself. I need time to recover, to recharge. If you don't do that, you won't be able to help anyone. Imagine if you didn't rest. How could you keep loving and caring for others? When you turn down a request, you're choosing yourself so that later you can do better for the people around you. If you feel guilty about saying no, try to reconsider. Your decision isn't selfish, it's self-respect. When you protect your health, you're doing the right thing. Remember that your mental health is the foundation for everything else in life. The less time you make for yourself, the more likely you are to get drained. And when you're drained, you won't have anything left to give, not even to yourself. Saying no is not a bad thing. You deserve time for yourself. When you protect yourself, you're creating the opportunity for you to be healthier and happier. You don't have to please everyone. You just have to be true to yourself. Think about your mental health, and you'll see that saying no isn't a lack of care. It's self-care, so you can keep helping others. Oh, actually, learning to say no isn't that hard, but it holds a huge amount of power. When you learn to turn down things that aren't a good fit, you're not just protecting your mental health, you're saving your energy for what truly matters. Don't let guilt stop you from taking care of yourself. Remember that taking care of yourself doesn't just prevent burnout. It helps you live a happier, more meaningful life. Start today. Say no to be free, to be healthy, and to live your own life.